Pedal-powered wings rolling low and slow, making their way to the big air show. Gonna set a world record. We picked the perfect spot. Gonna park them right next to the big green dot. I'm Dad.
And I'm Wyatt.
Welcome to the show. Chalks away, it's time to roll. High speed,
Low drag.
in thrust we trust. Gotta make it to Wisconsin. It's Oshkosh or Bust.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm Dad.
And I'm Wyatt.
And we are back for Oshkosh or Bust.
Series 2.
That's right, Series 2. We are so excited to be back with you, taking a second road trip to Airventure in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We've got a new studio here in the basement of our local church. And then, of course, this year, it's not like we're just going for an unofficial world record like last time. No, this year it is an official Guinness World Record. That is right. We are going to be trying to get 50 pedal planes in the same place at the same time, lined up in a parade, and if all goes well, we will be in the Guinness Book of World Records for largest pedal plane parade. All right, now we know that some of you might be joining us for the first time. So before we go too far, there's something that we need to do. We need to explain how we got to where we are right now.
Okay, folks. Let's start at the beginning. I'm only going to do this one time. My name is Wyatt. And in 2013, this guy right here and this guy right here built me a pedal plane. And it's a B-51 Mustang. And Dad knows the rest.
Fast forward to the fall of 2017, when a group called the Y.E.S Flyers in the United Kingdom set an unofficial world record for the largest gathering of pedal planes. It was later in January when a guy named Andy called me and said, "Hey, Dad, you want to help me break the world record for the largest gathering of pedal planes?" And I said, "Do I?" And then he called me back and said, "Hey, Dan, you want to help me break the unofficial world record for the largest gathering of pedal planes at Oshkosh?" And I said, "I mean, sure, man. It's cool. Whatever." So we started a YouTube show.
We hit the road.
We talked to some friends.
We saw a couple cool pedal planes.
We went to Oshkosh and we broke
that
record. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's the sum up.
so that is the sum up. And now you know about our road trip to Oshkosh and how we broke the UK's record for largest gathering of pedal plane. And now we have this friendly back and forth rivalry. But the important thing is we broke that record in Oshkosh last year.
Dad, didn't they break another record after like 3 months later, after Oshkosh 18?
Yeah, now that you bring it up, Wyatt, I suppose it is something we have to admit, is that just 3 short months after we set our record in Oshkosh, the Y.E.S Flyers from UK set the record again, beating us out by just 1 or 2 pedal planes. So, Andre and Y.E.S Flyers, this moment of victory is for you. That's out of the way, we can move on to our next segment. Now, last year in episode 2, we did one episode where we highlighted about 5 or 6 pedal planes. They were our favorite planes at the time and built by our favorite builders. But this year, we're doing something different. How are we doing it different this year?
In each episode, we are going to talk to a builder and talk to them about the project they're working on. And today, we are going to talk to Gary Hensen and on the project he is working on.
Yeah, just what he said. Gary was a great guy. He was a lot of fun to hang out with Pedalventure last year. And he is working on a one-of-a-kind project from the ground up, built through trial and error. This is all 100% a Gary Hensen original. What's he built?
An AH-64 Apache!
Check it out. Our guest today is the former head of flight line operations at Airventure in Oshkosh. And it was at Oshkosh just a little over 30 years ago when he picked up a set of plans for his very first pedal plane, and he built them for his son. Now those 30 some odd years later, and he's building pedal planes again. Gary Hensen is now trying to build one pedal plane for each of his grandchildren. Now both of his granddaughters already have theirs. An Aviation Originals Beach Staggerwing that we featured last year in episode 2, and an Aviation Originals Taylor Craft that joined us at Oshkosh for Pedal Venture last year. And now it's time to build one for his grandson. And he had a pretty simple request. He said, I want to fly what Dad flies. Well, there's just one problem. They don't make a kit for what Dad flies. You see, Dad works for Uncle Sam, and he flies an AH-64 Apache. Apache helicopter entered service with the United States Armed Forces in 1984. It was during the first Gulf War when the Apache finally achieved pop culture status. There were Apache toys, there were Apache models and RC helicopters. There was even an Apache movie starring Nicolas Cage and Tommy Lee Jones. Now after all of that, the toys, the models, the RC helicopters, the movie, there's never been a pedal version of the Apache helicopter. And that means Gary Hensen is working with no net. No templates, no plans, just trial and error and the vision he has in his mind. And so we started our interview with Gary with a simple question. Why build an Apache helicopter?
Decided that when all my grandkids are born, I was going to build them a pedal plane. Excuse me. And problem was that my grandson, his daddy's an Apache pilot, shouldn't have an airplane. He should have an Apache. And so that started the ball rolling. And I just decided that, okay, fine, we're going to build you an Apache since that's what you want is a helicopter. And the Apache, 2 reasons, Daddy flies one, and also it's one of the few helicopters that can taxi because it has a tail wheel. I thought, well, to my knowledge, never been done, and we're going to start drawing it and dealing with the pedal system out in front of the wheels and the basic balance of it, and the logistics of trying to figure out how to make the rotor shaft work, because if he's going to get an Apache helicopter, he's going to have at least the vertical rotor blade working.
Now, of course, there's been some challenges during this build, and Gary has faced quite a few of those during construction of his Apache helicopter.
The most challenging part in the beginning was the landing gear, because the landing gear is swept back. It also bows out. So you have to bend your landing gear, and each one, both sides, one is bent opposite of the other one, trying to get those exact. The second most important part was once I had it set up, the side fuselage cut out, and I set it up on blocks. Then it was trying to get the rotor blade, the rotor shaft, in the vertical, but the helicopter was sitting on an angle. So if you put the helicopter fuselage flat on a table, your rotor shaft would be twisted forward on an angle towards the pilot. I used my old brain and came up with a treadle belt, and a treadle belt is the old belt that uses off of a pedal-powered sewing machine. From that system there, I could use my belt. It can make its 90-degree turns. It can make the turn to the shaft, and it goes around the rotor shaft and comes back down. Basically, the belt is about 68 inches long from one end to the other.
One of the great things about pedal plane builders is how we all use everyday items to achieve the desired look of the project that we're working on. Wyatt and I used a couple of old carburetor cleaner cans and some foam core for fins to make it look like our Mustang had some ordnance. And Marv Hoppenworth created the original pedal plane by cutting a Nerf football in half and using it as a spinner cone. Gary Hensen's carrying on that tradition. He talked to us about how he was creating the ordnance for the Apache helicopter.
My Hellfire missiles are 11 3/4 inches long. So I made 24 inches of fiberglass wrap so I could actually make 2 Hellfires at the same time. Once they cured, all you have to do is grab them because it's been waxed, give it a twist, and it'll slide right off the PCV pipe. Then you can square up the ends and cut your 11 3/4 inch Hellfires. And I wanted at first 1.5 inches because I could find plastic Easter eggs that you hide candy in for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
1.5 inches and they break apart. That would make a perfect nose. 1.5 inches was too small. 2 inches, I had problems finding it. So I went to the local fabric store and I picked up a dozen styrofoam, 2.5-inch styrofoam balls. Now, if you take the styrofoam ball and you take the Hellfire tube and you put it in, as you twist it, it'll cut itself into the tube.
Okay.
Any of the excess, 1/4-inch excess all the way around of styrofoam, you can shave off with a file, and now you already have the nose because it's the round shape of the styrofoam ball. From there, you turn around and mix up a little Bondo, put a little Bondo over it to fill in the holes, sand it smooth, and then you just wrap half-ounce fiberglass cloth over it and glass it. My fins are made out of about a 1/8-inch light ply, if I'm not mistaken. Notched out, and then the Hellfire missiles are notched, so when I was able to glue them on the fins onto the missiles, you have glue on the inside where the slot was, and then you also have glue on the underside of the fin so it sits on the missile. So you've got things stuck in the missile and on the outside. So we have glue on both sides.
Now, when we sat down with Gary, it was 100 days till Oshkosh, and Gary took just a few moments to talk about all the little things he still has to finish before he can consider his Apache helicopter complete.
Painting. I got to prime it and paint it. And all of my pedal planes are always leather interior. And the side panels and the seat and the backrest. And the backrest always has the grandchild's name embroidered in it. So that's to be done. I have the windows cut out, and they're cut out and polished and ready to go. So basically it's painting, the outside, primering and painting, and doing the interior, and then putting the windows in. It does have its navigation and strobe lights already in.
Now, as we brought our interview to a close, we asked Gary what he'd like to share with those of you who might be considering your first trip to Oshkosh, especially if you're bringing a pedal plane.
The main thing is to enjoy aircraft and have fun. You come early. The gates open at 6 o'clock in the morning for the cars to arrive and for parking. The sooner you get there, the sooner you get close to the main entrance. Bring a good pair of shoes for walking. The flight line is about 1.75 miles long that you can walk the whole flight line to see all the other aircraft and this sort of stuff, and in and out of all the rows and that. Be willing to talk to people. People are just become a big family at EAA. They always say you come for the airplanes and you leave with a family and friends. And that's the truth. It really is that nice. Where else can you go that you have 100,000 people on one day at an air show and walk the grounds and you won't find wrappers and paper and this sort of stuff on the grounds? Everybody is so neat. Everybody is so friendly. They're courteous. If you love airplanes, it's a mecca. If you really want to see something unique, bring your pedal plane, put it on display, let the kids see them. They'll just get more interested in aviation.
I want to thank Gary for joining us today, and I want to thank Gary's grandkids, too, for providing the inspiration for all of these wonderful pedal planes. And I can't wait for Pedalventure so I can finally see the Apache in person. All right, in our next episode of Oshkosh or Bust, we will have another spotlight feature on a great builder and an awesome project, and we'll have some tips for those of you who are thinking about making your own road trip to Pedalventure. In the meantime,
We would like you to like, subscribe, and share.
that's right, make sure to hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube channel. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to hit that like and share button so you catch every episode of Oshkosh or Bust Series 2. Now let's get real. It's a long way to 50 pedal planes, but it is either Oshkosh
Or bust.